My wife demanded an open marriage, so I gave her exactly what she asked for. Hey True, I've been watching your channel for about a year now. I actually started following you after my divorce was finalized, and I have to say, your stories helped me through some long nights when I was sitting alone wondering how my life flipped upside down so fast. Hearing men all over the world share their stories made me realize I wasn't crazy or weak for what I went through. So, I figured it's time I shared mine. My name's Jack. I'm 36 years old, I live in Arizona, and my story starts in the one place I never thought I'd meet my future wife, Las Vegas. It was Memorial Day weekend, 2015. My buddies and I took a road trip from Arizona to Vegas for some fun. I wasn't really going there to meet anyone. I'd just gotten out of a long relationship a few months before, and my mindset was more have fun, no attachments. But that all changed when I met her, my ex-wife Lauren. I met her at a rooftop bar at the Cromwell. She was there for her cousin's bachelorette weekend. She had this big, confident smile, the kind of energy that makes the whole room turn and notice her. But what stood out most to me was that she wasn't acting wild or sloppy like most of the girls there. She was laughing, but she carried herself with class. I remember she spilled part of her drink on me by accident, and that's how we started talking. We hit it off instantly, that perfect combination of flirty and genuine. We spent hours talking that night. What blew my mind was when I found out she lived in Kingman, Arizona, just 40 minutes from where I lived in Lake Havasu. I remember thinking, what are the odds? We exchanged numbers, hung out the very next weekend after we got back from Vegas, and it just took off from there. Everything felt easy with her. She was affectionate, thoughtful, funny, spontaneous, the kind of woman who texted good morning, cooked breakfast on Sundays, and always wanted to be near me. After a few months, we were inseparable. She met my friends and my mom, and everyone loved her. My mom told me, Jack, this one's different. She's the kind you marry. And she was. One of our first trips together was to Virginia to visit her dad's side of the family. Her father had moved there after retiring from the military, and she wanted me to meet him. I'll never forget that trip because that's when I knew I wanted to marry her. Her family welcomed me like I was one of their own. We went hiking, had cookouts, even went to a small church with her grandmother on Sunday morning. The whole family treated me with warmth and respect, and I could see why she was so grounded. That week, I started ring shopping online. I proposed to her 2 months after that trip, on the beach during sunset. She cried, said yes, and hugged me so tight I thought my ribs would crack. Those early years were golden. We got married the next summer, had a small ceremony, and I felt like I'd hit the jackpot. She supported me when I started my own small HVAC business. She kept our home clean and cozy, and she was affectionate. Always wanted to cuddle or sit close while we watched movies. We'd go on road trips, go fishing, barbecue with neighbors, the normal, peaceful stuff that makes life feel solid. For the first 3 years, our marriage was damn near perfect. I can't pinpoint exactly when things started to change, but around year 4, she got more distant. She started spending a lot of time on her phone, smiling at texts she wouldn't explain. She claimed it was group chats from work or friends from Facebook. Then she started mentioning how she wished we had more excitement. She wanted to travel more, meet more people, try new things. At first I thought it was just restlessness. I was working long hours, 10 to 12-hour days, keep my business running, and maybe she was lonely. So I made an effort. I took her out on dates again, planned little weekend trips, even started helping around the house more so she wouldn't feel ignored. But it didn't fix anything. I remember the exact night everything changed. I came home from work one evening and she was already home, sitting on the couch. Normally she'd greet me with a hug, but that night she looked tense, like she had something heavy to say. Jack, she said, I've been thinking. I feel like our marriage could be stronger if we were more open with each other, like if we didn't limit ourselves. I blinked, not understanding. What do you mean by open? She said, like, maybe we could try an open marriage. You know, be honest if we're interested in other people, but still come home to each other. I remember just staring at her, trying to process it. I actually laughed at first because I thought she was joking, but she wasn't. When I realized she was serious, I felt this heat rise in my chest. I said, "So what? You want permission to cheat?" She immediately got defensive. "No, it's not cheating if we both agree. I just think we've been together so long, maybe we need to explore. It doesn't change how much I love you." I was stunned. I told her she could take that exploration and go explore somewhere else. That led to the biggest argument we'd ever had, yelling, crying, slamming doors. That night I slept on the couch, but my gut told me something wasn't right. The next morning, she was acting distant again. She said she was going to run errands, but my instincts were on fire. I knew there was more to this open marriage talk. When she left, I grabbed her phone off the charger in the kitchen. She never used to have a lock, but suddenly she did, and I knew that was a bad sign. I used her old birthday to unlock it, and it worked. I went straight to her messages and found exactly what I feared. She'd been texting a guy named Rick who worked with her. There were weeks of messages, flirtatious ones, late night ones, even explicit ones. Pictures, too. It wasn't just emotional, it was physical. I remember sitting there reading everything with my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. She had already been cheating for months, and then she had the audacity to ask for an open marriage like she was doing me a favor. When she came home later, I didn't say a word about what I saw. I acted normal. I wanted time to think. A few days later, I told her, "You know what? I've been thinking about what you said. Maybe an open marriage isn't a bad idea." Her face lit up like a Christmas tree. She hugged me and said, "Really? I knew you'd come around." I smiled back, but inside, I was done. I agreed, and within a month, I started seeing someone else, a woman named Rachel, who I met through a mutual friend. I didn't even hide it. Lauren said we should be honest and open, right? Rachel was different, sweet, level-headed, supportive. She wasn't interested in games or manipulation. For the first time in a while, I felt peace again. Meanwhile, Lauren's excitement about this open marriage faded fast once she realized I was actually seeing someone I liked. She'd ask where I was going, who I was with, and if we were getting serious. The irony was thick. About 6 weeks later, she told me she didn't want to be open anymore. She said, "I think this was a mistake. I want to close it. I miss us." That's when I dropped the bomb. I told her, "We can close it after you get served." She froze. "What?" I said. "You wanted an open marriage, so I opened the door and walked out." I'll admit, I did it out of spite, but it felt justified. I had the divorce papers served to her at her job. She worked as a department manager at a retail store, and when the process server handed her the papers, she apparently burst into tears in front of her coworkers. Later that day, she called me, sobbing, accusing me of humiliating her. She said she got demoted because of the scene it caused, from department manager down to team lead. She screamed into the phone, "You ruined my life, Jack!" And I said, "No, you ruined your own life when you asked to open our marriage while you were already screwing someone else." After that, she went full victim mode. Told her family and friends that I blindsided her. Luckily, I had the receipts, literal screenshots of her messages with Rick. Her own father even called me and said, "Jack, I'm sorry for what my daughter did. You don't deserve that." Honestly, the divorce went smoother than I expected. She tried to fight for spousal support at first, but my lawyer shut that down quick, especially after we presented evidence of her affair. We didn't have kids, so that made things easier. We split the house profits, divided the furniture, and that was that. It took about 6 months, and when it was final, I felt free. Not broken, just released. Lauren, on the other hand, couldn't move on. She started messaging me constantly, saying she regretted everything. She'd write paragraphs about how she didn't mean it, how she thought I'd never actually agree, how she was testing me to see if I loved her enough to fight for her. That last one really got me. Testing me? I ignored her. I was focused on Rachel, who stood by me the whole time. She didn't rush me to heal or tell me to get over it. She just let me take my time. And now, 3 years later, Rachel and I are still together. She's been my peace after all that chaos. Lauren, though, she never stopped trying to interfere. She's shown up at restaurants where Rachel and I were eating, pretending it was coincidental. She sent fake social media messages from burner accounts, trying to stir drama. She even tried messaging Rachel directly once, saying, "You should know he's still sleeping with me." Rachel showed me the message and laughed. She said, "Wow, she's really not over you." That's when I realized Lauren's biggest problem. She thought she could walk away, play with fire, and I'd always be there waiting. But I wasn't. I moved on and she couldn't handle it. It's been 4 years since the divorce. I'm doing better than ever. My HVAC business has grown. I bought a small house with Rachel and life's been peaceful. Lauren still tries to pop up from time to time, but I've blocked her on everything. She still lives in the same town, and mutual acquaintances say she's bitter, claims I ruined her reputation and used her. But let's be real, she dug her own grave. True, I'll be honest. I used to wonder if maybe I was too cold for serving her like that, but the more I've heard other men's stories, the more I know I did what I had to do. I protected my peace. She asked for an open marriage. I gave her one, and an exit. Now here's the kicker. She didn't stop after the divorce. A year later, she tried to smear me publicly, claimed I gave her STDs and STIs, told people I was dangerous. It almost cost me business because rumors spread fast in small towns. Before I move on, I just want to leave this message for any guy reading this or hearing it on your channel. When a woman tells you she wants an open marriage, what she really means is she wants permission to do what she's already doing. Don't beg, don't fight, don't argue. Just quietly prepare your exit. That's exactly what I did. And looking back, it's the best decision I ever made. I never imagined the kind of lengths a person could go to out of pure jealousy and regret. But Lauren made it her full-time mission to destroy my reputation after she realized she couldn't destroy my peace. I want to walk you through exactly how it all unfolded because I know there are other men out there dealing with vindictive exes who can't stand to see you happy once they lose control. After the divorce was finalized, I made a point to stay quiet. I didn't badmouth her online. I didn't bring her up to mutual friends. I didn't even gloat about my new relationship. My goal was peace. Rachel and I were doing great. We'd moved in together, my business was thriving, and I was finally sleeping through the night without stress. For about 6 months, things were calm. Every once in a while, I'd hear through the grapevine that Lauren was struggling. She had bounced around jobs, and apparently Rick, the guy she cheated with, dumped her not long after our divorce. I wasn't surprised. He was married too, and from what I later learned, his wife found out and kicked him out. He had no real interest in building anything with Lauren beyond the thrill of sneaking around. That alone should have humbled her, but instead, it made her bitter. The first sign of trouble came about a year after our divorce. Rachel and I had just celebrated our 1-year anniversary with a trip to San Diego. We took pictures on the beach, posted a few on Facebook, nothing over the top. I didn't even tag Rachel in any of them, just a simple post that said, "Weekend getaway with my girl." Within a day, I started getting messages from people in town asking if it was true that I'd given my ex an STD. At first, I thought it was a joke. Then one of my longtime customers, an older woman who's been using my HVAC services for years, called me personally. She said, "Jack, I just wanted to let you know your ex-wife has been talking bad about you online. She's saying some pretty nasty things." My stomach dropped. I opened Facebook, searched Lauren's name, and there it was, a long public post full of lies and drama. She wrote, "I just want to warn women out there that not every man is who he seems. My ex-husband gave me multiple STDs while cheating on me, and now he's parading around town with his new girlfriend like he's Mr. Perfect. Ladies, protect yourselves and don't be fooled by fake nice guys." The comments were full of sympathy and support for her, people calling her brave for speaking out. Some even said, "Typical man, blaming the woman for everything." I remember sitting there shaking my head. She had flipped the entire script, and people were buying it. It didn't take long before rumors started spreading beyond Facebook. Small towns love gossip, and word travels fast. Some of my regular clients started canceling appointments with no explanation. One guy even told me, "Hey man, no offense, but my wife's not comfortable with you coming over anymore after what she heard." That's when I realized this wasn't just an emotional hit, it was financial. I confronted Lauren through text. I didn't yell or curse, I kept it simple. "Take that post down. You know damn well I never gave you anything. You're lying, and it's going to cost you." She replied within seconds, "Oh, so now you care about your reputation. Should have thought about that before cheating on me." I couldn't believe it. She was still spinning the story, even though she was the one who'd been unfaithful first. I didn't respond after that. Instead, I started documenting everything: screenshots, timestamps, and witness statements. My lawyer advised me to stay quiet publicly, but to gather as much evidence as I could. Meanwhile, Rachel was furious, not because she doubted me, she knew the truth, but because she hated seeing how much it affected me. I remember one night she held me while I vented and said, "Don't let her win by losing your cool. You'll get her back the right way." And that's exactly what I plan to do. For the next few months, Lauren went on what I can only describe as a smear campaign. She created fake profiles to comment under my business page, writing things like, "Don't let this guy in your house, he's disgusting. He gave his ex diseases and cheats on women." She even left fake one-star reviews under different names. At one point, she messaged Rachel's co-workers from burner accounts, saying Rachel was dating a dangerous man. It was pure insanity. Rachel wanted me to go to the police, but at first I hesitated. I didn't want to seem petty or dramatic, but then one day she crossed the line completely. Lauren showed up to one of my job sites. I was working at a residential property doing an installation when I saw her car pull up down the street. I froze for a second, thinking maybe I was seeing things, but no. She got out, marched right toward me, and started yelling in front of my client. "Why are you avoiding me, Jack? You think you can just pretend I don't exist after ruining my life?" The homeowner was mortified. I calmly told her to leave, but she wouldn't. She started crying, saying I used her, lied to her, infected her, all lies right there in front of a customer. That was the last straw. That night, I called my lawyer again and told him I was ready to move forward with the defamation lawsuit. We had everything we needed: her public posts, screenshots of fake accounts linked to her phone number, the reviews, even a witness statement from the homeowner who saw her confront me. We sent her a cease and desist letter first. I'll never forget her reaction. She texted me, "Wow, you're really going to sue me?" For telling the truth. Go ahead, you'll just embarrass yourself. 2 weeks later, when she got served the official court documents, she went silent. The legal process took months, but it was worth every bit of patience. My lawyer was thorough. He subpoenaed her phone records, social media activity, and even the IP addresses linked to those fake reviews. Every breadcrumb led straight back to her. During discovery, her attorney tried to argue that her posts were just opinions and emotional outbursts. But our evidence showed she deliberately fabricated health claims, which qualified as defamation per se. That meant I didn't even have to prove damages. The lies themselves were enough to warrant compensation. When we got to court, I sat across from her for the first time in over a year. She looked completely different, worn down, bitter, and defeated. The judge asked her directly if she had any proof of her accusations. She stammered, looked down, and said she deleted the messages. My lawyer handed over the stack of evidence showing otherwise. It was over. After 2 hearings, the judge ruled in my favor. Lauren was ordered to publicly retract her statements and pay damages for defamation and interference with business. She had to post a written apology on the same Facebook page where she'd made the accusations. I still have a screenshot of it. I made false statements about my ex-husband, Jack, last name, that were not based in truth. He did not give me any STDs or STIs, nor did he engage in any of the behavior I previously claimed. I apologize for the harm caused. She deleted it after 30 days, but it didn't matter. The damage was undone. People saw it. My reputation was restored. Financially, she didn't have much to pay, but the court ordered garnishment from her paycheck for the settlement. To this day, she's probably still paying off what she owes. Rachel cried when we won, tears of relief more than joy. She hugged me and said, "You finally got your closure." And she was right. This whole experience taught me more about human nature than any book ever could. I learned that some people would rather burn everything down than accept accountability. Lauren thought she could control the narrative. She believed that if she painted me as the villain, she could erase her own guilt. But truth has a way of resurfacing, even when lies spread faster. I also learned the importance of documentation. Every message, every comment, every fake review, I saved it all. If I hadn't, I'd probably still be fighting to clear my name. Most of all, I learned the value of peace. You can't buy it, and you sure can't find it in revenge. For a while, I fantasized about confronting her, about telling her off in public. But Rachel reminded me that silence is louder than shouting when you've already won. After the case wrapped up, things got even better. My business recovered quickly. In fact, the publicity ended up helping because people respected that I stood up for myself instead of letting lies ruin me. Rachel and I started taking small vacations again, something we'd paused during the legal battle. We went back to Vegas of all places, full circle. I remember sitting in the same hotel where I first met Lauren, sipping a drink with Rachel, thinking about how much my life had changed. Rachel smiled at me and said, "You seem lighter now." And I was. For the first time in years, I wasn't angry. I wasn't bitter. I wasn't trying to prove anything. I had everything I needed: peace, love, and self-respect. Lauren, on the other hand, kept spiraling. People who knew her said she tried dating again but couldn't keep a relationship. She apparently tells every new guy that I ruined her trust in men. Ironic, considering she's the one who ruined it herself. I don't wish her harm, but I also don't pity her anymore. That's her journey. True, when I look back on it all, the cheating, the lies, the drama, I see a man I barely recognize. The old me would have begged her to stay, tried to fix things, or compromised my dignity to make it work. But now I know better. When someone shows you they don't value loyalty, there's nothing left to save. You can't build a future with someone who treats commitment like a convenience. I used to think divorce was the worst thing that could happen to a man. But honestly, staying in a toxic marriage is worse. Divorce gave me my life back. To any man reading this or hearing it on your channel, listen to me carefully. Never chase someone who disrespects you. If she asks for an open marriage, it's not because she wants freedom. It's because she's already entertaining someone else. Don't negotiate with betrayal. Pack your piece and go. I did. And even though I went through hell afterward, I came out stronger and more grounded than I've ever been. I don't hold grudges anymore. I don't even think about Lauren much except when I tell my story. If anything, I'm grateful now because she taught me exactly what kind of love I don't want. Rachel and I are planning to get married next spring. This time, it feels different, calm, mutual, real. No games, no secrets, no conditions, just love built on respect. And that's how it should have been all along. Man, true, when I say this woman treats me like a king, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. After everything I went through with my ex-wife, the manipulation, the drama, the disrespect, it feels surreal to finally be with someone who doesn't make love feel like a battlefield. Let me walk you through it. Rachel moved in with me officially about 2 years ago, right after my lawsuit ended. We'd already been spending most nights together, but there was something symbolic about her bringing her things over, like the house itself started breathing differently. The first thing she said when she unpacked was, "I want this place to feel like home for us, not just for you." And she meant it. She started redecorating, not in an overbearing way, but thoughtfully. She brought warmth into every corner, small plants on the windowsills, framed pictures of our trips, candles that made the house smell like vanilla and cedar. Before Rachel, my house felt like a bunker, functional but cold. With her, it became a sanctuary. I can't tell you how many evenings I've come home from a long day at work to find her humming while cooking, the smell of garlic and butter filling the kitchen, music playing low in the background. She'll greet me at the door, kiss me, and say, "Go wash up, dinner's almost ready." It's simple stuff, but it means everything. After years of tension and walking on eggshells with my ex, coming home now feels like stepping into peace. And here's the thing, it's not about her serving me like some outdated stereotype. It's the care behind it. The way she takes pride in making sure I'm okay, in making sure our home is full of good energy. She once told me, "I don't do these things because I have to. I do them because I want to. You make me feel safe, so I want to take care of you." That right there hit me deep. Mornings used to be chaos when I was married to Lauren. We'd argue about nonsense. Who used the last of the milk? Who left the towel on the floor? Who forgot to lock the door? It always felt like tension followed us into every day. Now mornings are something I actually look forward to. Rachel wakes up earlier than me most days. She'll kiss me on the forehead, get out of bed quietly, and start making coffee. By the time I'm up, the smell of freshly brewed coffee fills the air, and breakfast is halfway done. Sometimes it's pancakes, sometimes omelets, sometimes just toast and fruit, but it's always something thoughtful. She'll hand me a mug, sit across from me, and ask, "What's on your schedule today?" Not in a controlling way, in a supportive one. She genuinely wants to know how my day looks so she can make it easier for me. Some mornings when I'm in a rush, she packs my lunch for work, nothing fancy, just sandwiches, chips, maybe a little note tucked inside that says, "Love you, handsome, be safe." That might sound small, but those notes, they do something to me. I kept the first few she wrote in my truck's glove compartment. On stressful days, I still pull them out and read them. They remind me that I'm not alone in life anymore. Running my HVAC business can be stressful. Between managing employees, scheduling jobs, and dealing with clients, it's a lot to juggle. Back when I was married to Lauren, she used to complain that I worked too much. She'd say things like, "You care more about your business than you do about me." Rachel's the opposite. She respects what I do. She encourages me. Sometimes she even comes out on calls with me just to keep me company, especially on long drives to out-of-town jobs. She'll sit in the passenger seat reading or playing music and say, "I just like being near you." When I get home from tough days, the kind where everything went wrong and I'm frustrated, she doesn't criticize me for venting. She listens. She'll say, "Come sit, tell me what happened." Then she'll pour me a drink or hand me a cold beer, sit beside me on the couch, and just let me talk. She never interrupts or tries to fix everything. She just listens, rubs my back, and says things like, "You've got this, Jack. You always figure it out." And she's right, I do. But it hits different when someone actually believes in you without judgment. Rachel pays attention in a way that most people don't anymore. She knows how I like my coffee. 1 sugar, 2 creams. She knows I hate cilantro. She knows my favorite movie is Heat and that I can quote every line from it. If I mention something I want or need in passing, she remembers it. Like one time I said my work boots were getting worn down, and 2 days later, she surprised me with a new pair. "You take care of everyone else," she said. "Let me take care of you sometimes." She'll clean my truck while I'm working just because she knows I'm too busy to do it. She makes my life easier in ways that aren't flashy but incredibly meaningful. She's the kind of woman who still texts me in the middle of the day just to say, "I hope your day's going great. I can't wait to see you tonight." There's no drama, no guessing games, just love that feels solid. Our evenings are sacred. After work, we usually cook together or go for a drive around sunset. Sometimes we sit on the porch with a couple of beers, watching the sky turn orange and purple, just talking about random things. We talk about dreams, future plans, our next vacation. She's always bringing up new ideas. Maybe we'll open a little cabin rental business someday, or maybe I'll train some younger guys and take a step back from field work. She dreams with me. That's something I never had before. Lauren used to shoot down every idea I had that didn't center around her. Rachel, she's my teammate. Sometimes we'll watch old movies. She'll curl up next to me, head on my chest, and I'll run my hand through her hair. There's no need for words. The silence is comfortable. On weekends, we have our lazy Saturdays. She'll make breakfast in bed, we'll watch YouTube or Netflix and just laugh. Sometimes she'll surprise me with little gestures, like running a bubble bath after a long day, or giving me a massage without me even asking. One night I told her, "You spoil me too much." She smiled and said, "No, I treat you how you should have been treated all along." That one sentence nearly made me emotional. Even my friends and family see how different I am now. My mom told me not long ago, "Jack, I've never seen you this happy or this calm." My buddies who watched me struggle during my divorce now joke that I won the lottery. And honestly, it feels that way. Rachel gets along with my mom like they've known each other for years. They bake together during holidays, go shopping together, and my mom constantly tells me, "Don't mess this one up." Even my employees notice I'm more patient and easygoing. They've told me, "Boss, you seem lighter lately." It's amazing how peace in your home spills over into every other area of your life. Rachel and I made it a goal to travel somewhere new every year. Last year, we went to Colorado and rented a cabin in the mountains. We spent the week hiking, cooking, sitting by the fire. Every morning we'd sit on the porch with coffee, wrapped in blankets, watching deer graze in the distance. I remember thinking, this is what peace feels like. We've also been back to Virginia to visit her family. The same trip that started my engagement to my ex all those years ago. I thought it might bring up bad memories, but it didn't. It actually felt healing. Her dad hugged me and said, "I'm proud of you, son. You've come a long way." Rachel smiled and said, "You deserve everything good coming your way." This year, we're planning a trip to Hawaii, her dream destination. I'm surprising her with it for her birthday. I can't wait to see her face when she finds out. Another thing I can't leave out, true, and I'll keep this tasteful, but the intimacy between us is next level. Not just physically, but emotionally. Rachel makes me feel desired in a way that isn't just surface level. She compliments me often, tells me she's proud of me, that I make her feel safe and loved. That kind of affirmation hits harder than people realize. She never withholds affection. If anything, she gives it freely. Hugs, kisses, little touches throughout the day. Sometimes when I'm working on something at home, she'll walk by, kiss my cheek, and whisper, "You're my man." It's the kind of connection that keeps your heart full. We've talked about marriage, and for the first time in my life, I don't feel nervous about it. I feel ready. We've even started talking about buying land, maybe building our own home from the ground up. Rachel said, "I want a place where we can grow old together." That line melted me. I told her after everything I've been through, I never thought I'd want to marry again. But you changed that. She smiled and said, "That's because you were never loved right before." And she's right. Sometimes I'll catch myself driving alone, just thinking about how far I've come. From being betrayed and humiliated to sitting in courtrooms defending my name, to now, living in peace surrounded by love. There was a time I thought all women were like my ex-wife, selfish, manipulative, incapable of real loyalty. But Rachel proved me wrong. Now I understand something deeper. Not every woman is toxic, but every man has to learn to value himself first. Because once you know your worth, you stop accepting half effort from anyone. Rachel treats me like a king because I finally carry myself like one. I respect her. I lead with integrity, and I pour love back into her the same way she pours it into me. It's mutual, it's balanced, it's real. True, if someone had told me 5 years ago that I'd end up here, genuinely happy, loved, and fulfilled, I would have laughed. I thought my life was over after my divorce, but now I realize that ending was just the beginning. Rachel and I are planning our future with excitement instead of fear. We laugh every day. We support each other's goals. We build together. And every night when I lay my head down, I thank God that I walked away when I did. Because if I hadn't, I'd still be living in chaos instead of contentment. So if there's one thing I could tell any man listening to this, healing is real, love after pain is real, and peace is possible. You just have to stop settling for anything less than respect. Because when you finally meet someone who truly loves you, you'll know it. You'll feel it in how she looks at you, how she listens, how she moves through life beside you. That's Rachel for me. She's not just my girlfriend. She's my peace, my partner, and the reason I finally feel like I'm living like a king. Take care, Jack.